This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. It was a terrifying escape for a construction crew as an out-of-control wildfire closed in around them. The Manitoba-based team found shelter in a shipping container before narrowly avoiding a disaster. They say they're lucky to be alive. CBC's Gavin Axelrod has more from the team who was trapped by flames.
I'm scared. Trapped.
That's Carl Janile. He and a crew of construction workers in remote northwestern Ontario are huddling in a shipping container with nowhere else to go and a wildfire raging around them.
Didn't think I was gonna make it, but I just accepted it, man, and started helping out the guys and calming them down. A couple of guys, and then the lady asked me if she's gonna be okay. I said, you'll be okay.
The workers went out to build a fire break Saturday to keep a massive wildfire threatening Sandy Lake First Nation at bay. It closed in fast.
It bothers me when I think about we're in a fire, man. All the smoke and flames all around us.
Rescue attempts by air were unsuccessful for hours. Finally, trucks got through as the fire settled. The crew followed them back to the nearby First Nation, where they were then flown to safety in Manitoba.
Thank God that they got out alive. It looked so scary.
The majority of the crew was from Manitoba. Sigvasin Northern says 14 members work for them. 4 others are from other companies. They hailed the workers for their professionalism, courage, and calm response, and are offering supports.
Fire, all the trees, they're all caught on fire. It was in there, and I almost got caught through myself. But
Still, too close of a call for those who were there.
Fire came up and death literally right around us. The cats of our sea cans on fire. Well, actually, I thought we were going to perish, actually.
Meanwhile, Janile says he's happy things didn't end up worse. His daughter, Anika, happy to have him home.
So relieved and happy to see his face, because, I honestly thought I was never going to see him again.
A relief everyone involved in the incident is surely feeling after a happy ending to a terrifying situation. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now, as thousands flee the fires, hundreds of others go towards them. They're the unsung heroes helping fight and protect these communities in their time of need. Men and women working on the front lines, trying to get the wildfires under control while protecting critical infrastructure. CBC's Caroline Bargout has some of their stories.
Bridge is good, man. Keep moving. Forward.
For days, Clifford Nabes and 7 of his colleagues at the Keewatin Railway Company have been heading into the heat of the wildfires burning around Sheridan and Puckatawagan. Their job is to refuel the water pumps that are keeping flames from reaching 16 train bridges, essential for transporting goods and people to those remote communities.
Majority of the time, you got to get through it. You can feel the heat right through the side of the windows. There's a few times we've drove through fire where it's actually raining fire on the window.
Nabes estimates he's seen between 50 to 60 miles of forest that's been destroyed around Puckatawagan and Sheridan.
This is what it looks like when wildfires burn through wooded areas. As you can see, it is still smoldering. Emergency responders come in with heavy machinery, knock down some of these trees, and create what's called a fire break to prevent the flames from spreading. Then firefighters on the ground and helicopters in the air come in with water to try to put out the flames.
Alert, emergency engine trim.
After spending 22 years in the United States Marines, Rob Brunken decided to get his pilot's license. Now he flies for Columbia Helicopters in Aurora, Oregon. When the American company heard Manitoba needed air support to fight growing wildfires, they assembled a crew, loaded up 2 choppers, and came to help.
We kind of showed up, kicked all our gear out, and have just been trying to help wherever we can.
Brunken says you can't put out wildfires with a helicopter and a water bucket, but they provide critical air support for firefighters on the ground.
There's usually what's called an air attack. It's an aircraft that circles overhead that can see the whole fire, and they can see us, they can see all the air assets and the ground assets. So really they're coordinating kind of, the coach of the whole thing. They're coordinating between the ground crews and the helicopter crews, or even the aircraft, how to get the fire to burn itself out. That's really what we're trying to do.
Gary Lejam and his team use bulldozers to break up the tree line to prevent fires from spreading. He says most of the time it works.
You'll make just like a road allowance, and then when the fire gets there, it's got to kind of stop. It's got no fuel. The only time the fire goes over that is if there's big, heavy winds, and sometimes it'll fly over top.
These are just 3 of the emergency responders on the front lines of the Manitoba wildfire fight, doing the best they can to save people and property.
This wind keeps gusting.
Now, they just need the weather to cooperate. Caroline Bargood, CBC News, The Pas.
Meantime, the province is now pleading with people to reconsider non-essential travel around Manitoba. The government says it's working to free up hotel rooms for evacuees. And even with cooler weather and some rain, officials expect they'll need more space as wildfire season continues. CBC's Rosanna Hempel has the latest on the firefight.
A bit of rain for Flin Flon. The city's latest update Monday says the humidity and low winds are helping fight Manitoba's largest wildfire. The province says it's now more than 307,000 hectares in size.
There has been a little bit of rain in Flin Flon, but it was really only 2 to 4 millimeters, which is not enough to control that fire.
Nearby Cranberry Portage got up to 10 millimeters of rain, and further northeast, Sheridan got nearly 15.
Sheridan is looking quite good now in terms of control of the fire line, but of course we're talking about an extremely large fire, so lots of areas still that are of concern.
Across Manitoba, 9 other out-of-control wildfires continue to rage. About 21,000 people forced from their homes have registered with the Canadian Red Cross. More evacuations aren't expected right now, but the province says the need for hotel rooms may continue to rise.
We are urging Manitobans and Canadians to reconsider non-essential travel and event plans within Manitoba.
Minister Lisa Naylor says that includes conventions and family gatherings in the coming weeks.
Manitobans want to help. People have been asking us all the time, how can we help? So this goes beyond a donation to the Red Cross or dropping off some clothes. It says I can help by not taking up a hotel room right now when we need it.
Some areas in the province have received more than 20 millimeters of rain in the last 2 days. Still, the province urges caution.
It doesn't mean that the fire danger, will radically change. The rain really will touch the top layer of vegetation, and then as soon as any wind or heat comes, it evaporates. So underneath, there is still a lot of dry material with potential for ignition.
Conservation officers have issued 28 warnings and laid 74 charges since May. That could include fire and travel restrictions. Even more American firefighters arrived Monday. They joined the 300 American and Canadian firefighters from outside the province already here. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Time now to bring in Riley Lachak. And Riley, it was a wet weekend here in Winnipeg, but still people around the province looking for a good soaking to help with those fires.
Yeah, and I do have a little bit more rain in the forecast, particularly for northern Manitoba, Brittany. I did want to touch on that weekend rainfall, just some of the numbers and how widely spread out they were. So you heard Rosanna talking about Flin Flon, 2 millimeters, just a little bit to the northeast, Sheridan at 15 millimeters. And take a look at this in Winnipeg, anywhere from 7 to 37 millimeters. Yes, we did see some thunderstorms rolling through, and that's what helped enhance some of those rainfall totals across even parts of the city of Winnipeg throughout the weekend. Talking potential for the next 5 days, I look at this as more of a maximum or a best case scenario in this context as we get through the week here. This particular forecast model indicating the potential for up to 25 to 50 millimeters. I think that's a little bit unrealistic. Nonetheless, though, we are looking at some rain moving into parts of northern Manitoba. Flin Flon in particular, the other thing that you'll notice is cooler temperatures throughout the week. Winds, Brittany, also lighten up, but we are looking at least a couple of days here where we're looking at some rain. I'll have more on that when I come back.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Manitoba is being promised a new state-of-the-art headquarters for cancer care, and construction is set to get underway next year. The facility will be located on the Bannatyne Health Campus at Winnipeg's Health Sciences Centre. Plans for a new headquarters for cancer care were originally announced in 2015. Then they were cancelled by the former PC government. The former CEO says it's been desperately needed for decades.
It'll be a boon, as you've heard, for recruitment and retention, and we need the highly sought after staff and specialists.
The Premier says $11.5 million has been set aside this year for design work. The project is expected to take 4 years and could cost up to $1 billion. She fought to prevent trees from being cut down. Now this protester is being ordered to pay. More on the fine handed down and reaction after the break. An environmental activist has been ordered to pay thousands of dollars to a private developer. It puts an end to a months-long legal saga tied to the LeMay forest. CBC's Josh Crabb reports.
Protester and community activist Louise May has been ordered by Manitoba Court of King's Bench Justice Sarah Innes to pay a private developer $15,000. It all stems from the controversy over the LeMay Forest in South Winnipeg. May, a 59-year-old environmental activist who runs a hobby farm, was previously found to be in civil contempt of court for blocking the developer's access to the site back in January. That violated a court injunction obtained by the developer and plaintiff in this case, DHL Development Group, to keep protesters away so they could get on the land to remove trees. The developer had been trying to build an assisted living facility on the St. Norbert site. May and other protesters were trying to stop the cutting. Innes told court the developer's actions escalated tensions, such as making statements about cutting trees that Innes called provocative. Still, Justice Innes upheld her contempt finding and ruled May did the wrong thing for an important public purpose. The justice told the court orders must be taken seriously in a civilized society if the rule of law is to be maintained. Outside court, May said she thinks the judge's decision sends the wrong message.
It's a terrible price to pay for community involvement and standing up for what's right. I think it was a mistake of the judge to make that pronouncement today, and I think it sends a bad message to the community. I really want to encourage people to stand up for what's right.
May has been given a year to pay the developer, but she says it's going to be difficult to get them the money in time because finances are tight on the farm. The forest, in the meantime, has been expropriated by the provincial government, which plans to turn it into a provincial park. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A former Manitoba NDP cabinet and vice president has quit the party. It's all over what he calls top-down leadership and unprogressive policies. As CBC's Bartley Kivas reports, the premier is shrugging it off.
Polls suggest Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew is one of Canada's most popular politicians. This former party member suggests Kinew is more of a populist politician. Chris Wiebe ran as the NDP candidate in Dawson Trail in the last election and served as a party vice president. But he quit the NDP this spring, citing Kinew's leadership style and the party's direction.
They campaigned as progressives, but they're governing as conservatives.
Wiebe says he's upset the NDP continued some PC tax cuts and have done little on climate change. He says he's most upset Kinew is now entertaining the idea of expanding oil and gas pipelines.
We had multiple meetings with Mr. Kinew throughout the campaign as candidates to talk about policy, and one of his lines in the sand was no more pipelines.
When CBC News asked Kinew about this today, he rejected the question.
It's a big tent, and there's room for everybody on board Team Manitoba.
Wiebe says there's no room for someone like him, who was inspired to enter politics by the late Transcona Social Democrat Bill Blakey. Wiebe says Kinew has turned his back on those principles.
We're living through a third age of Pallister. I think that it's an austerity budget that they've given us, and healthcare is not getting better. Education is not getting better. We're struggling for post-secondary education. So I don't see much of a difference between us and the Conservatives.
The Premier laughed off any parallel to Pallister.
Anyone who's seen me try to play basketball would reject the comparison to Brian Pallister, and for what it's worth, I've never seen Brian Pallister put on a pair of skates.
According to Manitoba's most senior political observer, criticism from someone as sober-minded as Chris Wiebe should be taken seriously.
This is not an angry, disgruntled individual like Mark Wassilou, whose ambitions were blunted by Kinew's decision to exclude him from cabinet and then has gone on rants on social media attacking the leader. This is somebody who's a reflective, serious person.
Paul Thomas says it's clear the Kinew government is focused on popularity. That, he says, may come at the expense of making tough decisions. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada will spend 2% of national GDP on defence this year. That's the target NATO members agreed to spend on defence back in 2014. Carney emphasized the importance of taking that step, given the current volatility of international relations.
Threats from a more dangerous and divided world are unraveling the rules-based international order. An order that was fused by the settlements at the end of the Second World War and the end of the Cold War, an order on which Canada has relied for longer than many of our lifetimes. And while the consequences of these developments are profound, we have agency. We have agency in determining what comes next.
Canada currently spends about 1.4% of its GDP. During the recent federal election campaign, Carney agreed to meet the 2% number by 2030, but he's come under pressure from allies to meet Canada's military spending target sooner. Riley is back in now, and it was a bit of a chillier weekend for us here in Winnipeg. We saw some of that rain. I know I cozied up inside on Sunday, but still really hoping for some of that rain to hit areas of the province that need it most.
Yeah, unfortunately not looking at the steady rain that we need to really saturate the ground and saturate some of that dry vegetation, but again, I've been saying it for a few days now. We'll take what we can get as it comes, and that's what we've got in the forecast for the next few days is a little bit more rain. So we'll run the numbers for you here, starting with a look at satellite radar. And we have been sort of stuck under this cloud cover in southern Manitoba today, but a sunnier day to the west into Westman, places like Brandon enjoying a little bit of sunshine into the afternoon. That's what's allowed temperatures to elevate slightly throughout the day. You'll notice a little bit of rain starting to move into the Parkland, into the Swan River region right now. This all part of the next weather maker that will make its way across northern Manitoba and will give us a little bit more rain here. So timing this out, the leading edge, as you saw, starting to move in by the morning, around a rain moving into places like Flin Flon through Sheridan, Lynn Lake. I mean, not in the amounts we'll need, but again, we'll take what we can get as we get through the next few days here. Out of some of this, particularly where the further south you are into some of the sunshine, the chance that maybe we get a few rumbles of thunder or some lightning out of this as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. But as we get through Wednesday, we get another round of rain again. This one, at least according to this forecast model, almost entirely missing Flin Flon, but hitting areas further north, Lynn Lake, Sheridan, the areas where we are looking at a little bit more fire activity from that massive fire in northern Manitoba. That on and off shower, light rain continues as we get through Wednesday, even into Thursday in some cases for parts of northern and central Manitoba. What this translates to is really 1 to 5, I'd say 10 millimeters tops for parts of northern Manitoba into some of these darker greens back into Saskatchewan. But again, we'll take what we can get here, even if there is some embedded thunderstorms. What you'll notice, though, is a drop in winds as we get through the next 24 hours here. So a bit breezy in Winnipeg. We'll start a bit windy tomorrow once again. But into northern Manitoba, you'll notice these winds have gone from last week looking at winds gusting up to 50 kilometers an hour down to sustained winds at 5 in the Pas, even gusting up to about 30. So a significant drop in winds. I mean, still breezy at times. That will help firefighters get a handle on that fire perimeter as we get through the next couple of days. Maybe a little bit breezy in the south, though, as we get through the next couple of days here. That change around to a more northwesterly flow as we get through the next couple of days has the potential to increase haze and smoke activity once again in the south. So I think the hazier day for us in southern Manitoba likely to be Wednesday once again, looking at that air quality health index up around probably a 5 or 6 once again. So keep that in mind as we get toward the middle of the week. Temperatures very seasonal, 24 for tomorrow, 21 Brittany into Wednesday, and temperatures staying at seasonal as we get to the weekend.
Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
As we mentioned, it was a bit of a breezy day across southern Manitoba. We'll have much more straight ahead. Stay with us. In the face of dangerous wildfires and in spite of mandatory evacuation orders, some people don't leave willingly. At times, some choose to stay behind in these communities. It's a situation we're seeing play out in real time this season. And as CBC's Caitlin Gowerluck explains, experts say it can be difficult and traumatic experiences for some people to navigate.
Planes and trains of people forced out of their homes by wildfire. But there are always those who want to stay behind. That was the case in Pimicikamak, Cree Nation. Chief David Monius says some didn't think the fire near the community was that big.
One person was an old man that wanted to stay because he thought he could not survive out there. And then there's another family who had little kids, thinking that they'll just stay here and maybe drive out later on.
The province is asking people to follow evacuation orders, and they don't want evacuees coming back too early because it's dangerous. If someone refuses to follow a mandatory evacuation order, authorities can force people out. But experts say understanding the reasons why people don't leave is a better approach.
Those decisions go beyond mere recklessness or decisions not to obey orders.
Emergency management experts say sometimes past traumatic evacuations can make people hesitant to leave again. Other times, people may not want to leave their pets or homes unprotected.
We're always going to be in a bad position if we force people to do something. We need their assistance because in a disaster, we have limited resources.
Back in Pimicikamak Cree Nation, Chief Monius says it turned out some were worried about leaving their homes for a bigger city.
Everybody wants to stay home, and I understand that. So it took a while for people to catch on this is real, and then it could danger their lives.
Officials say about 21,000 Manitoba evacuees are now registered with Red Cross, and 27 communities remain evacuated. Caitlin Gowerluck, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Retail crime and safety is top of mind for some West End businesses in Winnipeg. Today, the mayor and some members of council walked through the area to speak with business owners about their concerns around crime. And as CBC's Mike Arsenault shows you, the city wants to create what it's calling a blanket of security.
Yeah, we really want to hear from them. He and others have put together.
Mayor Scott Gillingham went for a stroll through Winnipeg's West End Monday. He's visiting businesses and community members to talk about the city's Safe Winnipeg initiative.
The Safe Winnipeg initiative will take all these agencies, the police, the Downtown Community Safety Partnership and others, and they'll coordinate their work so that there's a good coverage. I've called it a blanket of safety in the downtown and the West End.
Cobra Collectibles on Sargent Avenue is one of the stops. Owner Michael Paye has done his own work to increase safety in the area. Last month, he organized a retail crime prevention conference for local businesses. He told the mayor he wants to see more police officers on the ground.
It's something we need because I've noticed since we've had police walking the streets, the crime drops.
Flowers in Bloom on Ellis Avenue was another stop for Gillingham. Owner Angela Hyland says she has 3 cameras surveilling her business, although she's never had any major issues.
In the 10 years, I've never been robbed because how much money can you get from my flowers, right? So I've been lucky, but still at the same time, security is still a factor.
West End Biz was guiding the mayor's walking tour. Executive Director Joe Cornelson says street patrols are top of mind for the community, as well as dealing with derelict buildings.
Having a strong policy that's compassionate and ensures that people are getting their housing and ensures that the housing that they're moving into is safe and that the building is safe for everyone around is also important to us.
They need it to be safe so that their employees, their customers, and their community members can have the confidence to come into their stores or their restaurants.
Gillingham says the city already has 12 dedicated street patrol officers. 12 more will complete their training Friday, then be added to the rotation. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The River East Transcona School Division wants to be prepared in case of an opioid overdose. This year, all 7 of its high schools have been supplied with 2 naloxone kits. The division says it started as a pilot project last year after looking at overdose statistics. Well, an opioid poisoning hasn't happened in a school. They say the kits are a proactive measure. A handful of staff at each school are trained to use the nasal spray. All students and employees have been taught the signs to look for when someone needs it. The Louis Riel division will also have naloxone kits in high schools beginning this fall. There's been more concerning incidents at a downtown Winnipeg library. City data shows there were 498 safety issues between January and March at the Millennium Library. During the same time frame the year prior, there were 361. That's a nearly 40% increase. That's all in spite of the fact that fewer people went there. 8,000 fewer people visited. More U.S. National Guard troops are on the streets of Los Angeles after a weekend of violence. U.S. President Donald Trump authorized the deployment after protesters rioted to stop immigration arrests. California's governor wants to sue Trump because he says the state should have been consulted. Steve Futterman reports.
After a night of confrontations, tear gas and pepper spray, police were very present and very visible. The violence of the last 3 days has shaken the city. Even officials have been shocked by the degree of violence.
It's escalated now since the beginning of this incident. What we saw the first night was bad. What we've seen subsequent to that is getting increasingly worse and more violent.
On Sunday night, for the first time, there was significant looting. The big fear is the possibility of new raids and detainments of undocumented immigrants. That would amp up already heightened tensions.
We will not be silent! We will not be silent! And we will not be intimidated.
Donald Trump's decision to deploy National Guard troops has also brought anger.
If I didn't get involved, if we didn't bring the Guard in, and we would bring more in if we needed it, because we have to make sure there's going to be law and order.
It's a peaceful march, and we will not be intimidated by the federal troops that have been unleashed into our communities. We stand strong, and we stand as one.
The last time National Guard troops were brought to LA to deal with civil unrest was more than 30 years ago, after the not guilty verdict for police officers accused of beating Rodney King. A midday rally took place, drawing a few thousand people, many carrying new signs that have suddenly become popular. City officials are urging people to stay peaceful, but that could be a tough thing to ask for, especially with emotions so high. Police say another problem is outside agitators who simply want to cause trouble. Steve Futterman for CBC News, Los Angeles.
An Australian TV reporter was shot with a rubber bullet on Sunday while covering the protests in Los Angeles.
The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
A police officer in riot gear is seen pointing and shooting at reporter Lauren Tomasi. Her news organization says Tomasi and her camera operator are safe and continuing their work. Authorities have banned protests in downtown LA. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's travel ban on nationals from 12 countries entering the U.S. took effect today. The president says the move is to protect the U.S. from what he calls foreign terrorists. And he says he is focused on countries whose citizens have a history of visa violations. But many officials and people from the listed countries have questioned those claims. In addition to the dozen countries facing an outright ban, 7 others will see partial restrictions. The action is similar to a move Trump made during his first term. Then he barred travelers from 7 Muslim-majority countries. Israel has intercepted a boat carrying Greta Thunberg and other activists. The stated intention of those on the boat was to deliver aid to Gaza. But Israel calls the boat, quote, the selfie yacht, and says it was a publicity stunt. Crystal Gamansing reports.
The 12 activist crew members who were on board the Madeleine are expected to return to their home countries. Israeli government spokesperson David Mencer said Israel has no intention of detaining them for any period of time. Those with the Freedom Flotilla Coalition say they spent most of the day trying to figure out the whereabouts of the crew. Their last interaction with them was around 3 a.m. That's when Israel Defense Forces intercepted the vessel as it made its way from Italy towards Gaza. They boarded at about 3 a.m. and there were some images released at that time. There was also a lot of attention paid to pre-recorded messages from those on board. Those messages were meant to encourage people around the world to call for their release.
If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible.
Menser was asked about the language used in that video, and he took exception to Greta Thunberg using the phrase kidnapped.
In more than 20 months, Greta has not found one single moment to call on the release of our hostages. Not one single moment. And she has the chutzpah to say that she has been kidnapped.
While there was some aid on board the vessel, Menser said this wasn't about feeding Gazans. He said it was about feeding individual egos. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Still ahead, a flurry of rainbows, glitter, and love as this rural community in southern Manitoba hosts its very first Pride March. More on that when we come back. It was a show of love, pride, and acceptance. More than 100 people marched through the streets of Carman this weekend as the town hosted its very first Pride Parade. As CBC's Gavin Axelrod shows us, for some, it was a long time coming, and for others, a full circle moment.
It was a day some in Carman have only ever dreamed of, like Pembina Valley Pride President Pauline Emerson Frabe.
Thank you so much.
She moved to the southern Manitoba town with her wife after U.S. President Donald Trump was elected for his first term in office.
We didn't want to go back in the closet just because we moved to this little town. So it means so much. This is a dream come true for us. We've been working on making this happen for 8 years now.
Emerson Frabe says Carman hasn't always been the most inclusive place, and pride flags have been stolen in the past. But
none this week. We've had no problems with any acceptance happening here this week.
This is what freedom looks like. We are what freedom looks like. Canada is a country where we are free.
that's something Brett Owen doesn't take for granted. Owen came home to Carman from Toronto for their engagement party and remembers what it was like to grow up here.
You feel very alone, you feel really lost, you feel like no one can really relate to what you're going through. And so I think for young people to see older queer people who are happy, who are in love, who are themselves authentically, it's the most important thing you can have.
Thank you!
I don't think I ever did imagine this happening here, so to see it and to be a part of it, it's amazing.
They joined more than 100 people in Saturday's march through downtown Carman. At two different points, a handful of protesters stood by, holding posters with biblical scripture. Despite that, Emerson Frabe says things are getting better across the province's small towns.
So many people dismiss them as closed-minded, very, very conservative. There are a few folks like that. There are a few folks like that everywhere. But there are so many welcoming and loving individuals in these small communities.
And they were out in full display Saturday. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Carman.
Canadians waiting on parcels may see a little more difficulty getting deliveries this week. The union representing workers at DHL Express Canada says the company locked them out on Sunday, prompting a strike in response just hours later. The latest action comes after contract negotiations broke down between the two parties. Unifor says the company wants to change the driver's pay system. It says that would hurt employees. The work stoppage will disrupt delivery service for about 50,000 customers across the country. All of this is on top of the parcel delivery slowdown tied to the Canada Post contract dispute. It was an inside day for many pups over the weekend. I know mine was enjoying some couch time as opposed to being outside for those nice long walks, but albeit a nicer temperature for some of them as well.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when we see temperatures that are in the 30s, high 20s.
Very early in the season.
Yeah, that can be a little hot for the pups, especially if you're out walking on some pavement. So I don't have a return to those temperatures, but certainly looking at temperatures remaining pretty seasonal, Brittany, as we get through the next couple of days here. Let's start with the dog walking forecast. As we get into Tuesday, I mean, maybe a little bit more cloud cover in the morning, but we'll start to see some of that pushing eastward as we get through the day. Great day for pups like Charlie to get outside, enjoying the bird bath, or what's left of the bird bath and the inside of it right now. Thanks, Pat, for sending this picture in. You can send yours to talkback@cbc.ca. So 13 degrees first thing in the morning, at times breezy through the day. Tomorrow up to 24 in the afternoon. That's fairly seasonal for this time of the year, and 21 by the evening. By the way, just wanted to mention that we have our first named hurricane of the 2025 hurricane season. Barbara officially getting to a Category 1 off the Pacific coast of Mexico, barely, the threshold being 119 kilometers an hour for a Category 1 storm, now at 120 kilometer an hour winds. Not expected to have much of an impact on the coast of Mexico, aside from some potentially life-threatening storm surge or some high waves as we get through the next couple of days as this pushes itself back off into the Pacific, and as it enters some cooler water, downgrading down to a low-pressure system. So short-lived, but nonetheless worth mentioning. That's our first storm of the season off the coast of the Pacific, off of Mexico. Back here at home, still air quality warnings remaining in place for a good chunk of northern Manitoba and into eastern parts of the province from that fire in Nopaming Provincial Park and on the Ontario side of the border. Worth mentioning that I think as we get through into the next couple of days, you'll see these expanding a little bit further to the south once again as we see those northwesterly winds pushing a little bit more smoke down into parts of Manitoba, into the Interlake, certainly into the Red River Valley potentially as well. Temperatures right now 14 degrees in Winnipeg, 18 in Brandon, where we have seen some sun, but look what's happening to the west of us here. Saskatoon, Regina, skirting on 30 degrees this afternoon. That's because we've seen a little bit more sun. There's a ridge of high pressure to the west that has really warmed things up west of us into the Prairie provinces. Under the cloud cover, we have enjoyed a little bit more in the way of cooler temperatures, and that's what we get overnight tonight. About 10 degrees across much of the south, really across much of the north, looking at around 10 degrees, 4 degrees in Thompson, 0 in Churchill overnight tonight. Here's that first round of rain as it pushes across the northwestern part of the province through Flin Flon, Lynn Lake toward Norway House, looking at 15 degrees in Flin Flon by the afternoon. Below seasonal, that's what we like as we get into the next couple of days here. And Brittany, temperatures in the 20s through southern Manitoba tomorrow.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Well, when wildfires began burning in our province, thousands in Manitoba were forced from their homes. Organizations and volunteers leapt into action to provide supplies and support. CBC's Jim Agapito visited volunteers at Linking Hope, who say it's all made possible through the kindness of the community.
They call themselves Dealers for Hope. Linking Hope is a grassroots nonprofit that collects extra supplies from Winnipeggers to help those in need. And with the ongoing wildfire crisis in Manitoba, they've been extra busy.
Hi, I'm Christy Pearson with Linking Hope. Do you want to come pack up some jeans? And we'll get those going to the evacuees. Right now, we're at the Linking Hope warehouse space. It's above 190 Disraeli, which is Nadina Waymak, our relative's place.
Want jeans or those are skirts? Skirts.
And this is where we get all of our donations, and we decommission, we sort, and we get it out to agencies and to community as fast as possible. Here we go. Perfect. We also have access to a lot of incredible donors, individuals and companies that we reached out to, and we've received a crazy amount of stuff that is immediately getting out to the various evacuee sites. Those might work as bathing suits, but you could take a look at them, and if you do think they will, we've got lots of those. We all have to imagine if we were in that spot ourselves that there's a lot of devastation, a lot of trauma.
Hello. Hello. You need some help?
I need pants. But people are incredibly grateful to get the things they need, but it'd be very traumatic right now.
What are some of the items that the evacuees need?
Well, there's some of the basic items: underwear, hygiene items, clothing, if you have lightly used clothing, especially casual clothing right now. Socks are a big one, but some of the things people don't think about would be items for children, so the children left without their toys. Some of the other high need items are things like polysporin, baby aspirin, formula, diapers, wipes, those kinds of items, because these folks left with nothing. My house will be, my front porch is covered. I'll wake up in the morning and open up the door and it's covered with bags and boxes of items that have been donated. We'll start loading that stuff into some cars.
I am Amber Legal and I work with the YMCA of Winnipeg. Oh, these would totally feel like they would work for a bathing suit. Yeah. Today I am here, we're getting some bathing suits because right now we are free entrance for anyone that's displaced from the wildfires. They can come into our buildings and we just want to have everything set up. So if they want to go swimming, we've got bathing suits for them. If the kids want to go in the play structure, we've got socks, and we're trying to just make sure there's no barriers to them getting to have fun and enjoy the facilities. So we've got nice stock of bathing suits.
A lot of the folks that are mobilizing aren't necessarily folks that have a lot themselves. They're folks that maybe have been through tough times themselves, or maybe have an understanding of what it's like to be in dire need of something. And that's where the miracles are happening, when you're seeing some of the folks that have lived here maybe at Nijinawemak in a shelter, and they're the ones that are driving some of the items.
You know, what fuels you to want to do something like this, especially at a time like this?
Well, To be honest with you, I get more out of it than I give.
Thank you so much.
When you give back, the true feeling of happiness that you get from giving back is something that you'll never get from doing anything else. And it's really the people that you see behind me. They're my why, or the people that are downstairs in Waymack in the space that are incredibly grateful when they get a pair of socks.
Some sad news from the entertainment world today. A groundbreaking funk rock pioneer died. Sly Stone, who led the iconic Sly and the Family Stone group, was 82. That's their hit, Everyday People. Sly Stone played guitar, sang, and was the lead songwriter for the group he founded with his siblings in 1966. They knocked off a series of major hits over the next decade. The band was the first major American rock group to have a racially integrated mixed-gender lineup. More to come straight after this. The impact of the Winnipeg Jets playoff run is being felt far beyond the game. Proceeds from the whiteout street parties are being donated to 4 downtown community organizations. The street party raised almost $265,000. Half the proceeds will be given to United Way Winnipeg for critical support for homelessness, addiction, and mental health. The money will go towards places like Velma's House, a shelter for women fleeing domestic violence and abuse, and the Downtown Community Safety Partnership. One organization says the donation will change many lives.
You know, there's so much, it's been a tsunami of need. And just, you know, that we believe in a hand up, not a hand out. And helping our young people to realize their dreams, to realize their potential.
Nearly 35,000 fans took in the team's outdoor celebrations.
All right, something to look forward to in the night sky. Tuesday night into Wednesday, June's full moon called the Strawberry Moon. And with the orbit of the moon around the Earth, as I'm trying to get out here, it'll appear lower and dimmer than usual and will likely have more of a red hue to it. That peaking at 1:44 in the morning on Wednesday, so tomorrow night. Looking at 24 degrees in Winnipeg for your Tuesday into Wednesday. Temperatures remaining below seasonal for this time of the year. 23s for both Thursday and Friday. A little bit of a warm up for the weekend, and then we see our next best chance for some showers as we get into the day on Monday at 22 degrees. Well, picture a hot day that makes you crave an ice cream. I do like either cookies and cream or cookie dough, in case you're wondering.
I'm a mint chocolate chef. But what if those flavors are more unusual, like pickled onion or sriracha? That's the menu for tonight's Daily Lift.
Over weekend,
Okay, are you ready to savor the unconventional flavors, or do you take a hard pass on this soft serve? The experimental pop-up store in London is back this year.
And while some of these flavors might be a little offbeat, off-putting to some, Quaker Oats, Twiglets, and Bird's Custard remain the favorites by customers. The ice cream project was started by luxury handbag designer Aya Hansmarch.
Extra virgin olive oil was one of the other flavors. I don't know. I've had the olive oil one, not bad. Some of those other ones, it might be a pass.
You know what
for
I
me.
do? Pierogi flavor.
Oh.
That one I would do.
All right, we'll have to test it. Manitoba favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.